Hello and welcome to Smiling Souls. This is Stephanie Keenan Ray and Wendy T. How you doing today?
Hey, really well, even though it's really freaking hot.
What are you doing your fancy drink?
Iced coffee.
Yeah, but it looks like frothy.
Yeah, usually that doesn't happen. I don't know. Very tired because last night, Valeria, you probably experienced this, the storms that moved through through midnight. Kept me
Oh,
up.
they didn't reach us in Chicago.
Well, we were the beneficiaries of that. So I'm a little tired, need a lot of caffeine. Other than that, I am doing well. How about you?
I'm great because after this call, I'm going down to the Cape Cod.
Going down to the Cape Cod.
Well, I'm going down to the Cape is what I was going to say. And then people are going to be like, what Cape are you going to? So then I was like, the Cape Cod.
Cape Canaveral, Cape
So anyone
Cape
from New England's like, what's wrong with this girl? But no, yeah, my friend has, her client is letting us use her condo in Truro, which is like, if you're on the Cape, it's this part of Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's way up here, very close to Provincetown.
Oh, beautiful.
So,
oh my gosh. That's right. I forgot about that. How exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yes. Even though there's going to be quite a bit of traffic, even though we're leaving kind of early. But, you know.
So, you probably know this. Are you getting a lobster roll?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. That was the best thing ever when we were there. Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Yes. My friend actually texted me this morning. She wanted to make a stop in Providence to a fancy coffee shop that she's addicted to, which is only slightly out of our way. Like at first I was like, what's wrong with her? Why are we going to Providence to get to the Cape? And then I looked and I was like, oh, it's really not that far off. So, okay, not a problem. And then she just texted and was like, so the other chiropractor is talking about the traffic and whatnot. And so she's like, maybe we skip coffee and split a lobster roll. And I was like, all right, that sounds good.
Deal. That's a good deal. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Yeah. And you got your Oracle cards?
Yes.
Yay. What's your Oracle card all about today?
Oh, well, this is interesting. I didn't just pull it. My client pulled this one yesterday.
Oh.
And when I shuffled and I asked my angels to guide me, they said, this is for me today.
Huh.
So wrapped by blessings, dwell on happiness, live in wonder. Now, this is all I'm going to read because my book is kind of buried on my desk. And so we'll just leave it at that. That's okay for today. Yay.
Very
nice. Awesome. Mine is, and very apropos, outdoors.
Oh my gosh. Nailed it.
Yep. And it's Archangel Jophiel.
Yep.
Go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. Connecting with nature helps synchronize your rhythms to the universe's heartbeat. In this way, your natural timing improves so that you're in the right place at the right time. Being in nature renews your spirit and revives your energy levels. Get outside every day, even if it takes some effort on your part. Once you're in nature, take the time to smell the roses, observe the glorious beauty, and know that you're part of nature and that you're also beautiful. Working with Archangel Jophiel, the name means beauty of God, and she sees beauty in everything and everyone and helps you do the same. Jophiel knows that when we spend regular time outdoors, we're cleared of lower energies and naturally have more beautiful outlook on life. Call upon her to ease your schedule to allow outdoor time, plan nature-based vacations, and move to a more rural environment. Start a butterfly garden or just connect with nature in any way that pleases you. Which makes me laugh because, I mean, there's so much about that is like tied to my business, natural beauties, and that's all
100%.
what it's all about. Even the creative end of it, but then, that reminder to be sure to go out and enjoy the things. And, you know, it is my season where I love to go out and check the yard and see the flowers and
Look for
Yeah, I was gonna say,
butterflies.
read that again in January.
right. Exactly. That's what I really needed is January when I'm like, no, a bed and a book sounds perfect.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I like the idea of the butterfly garden thing.
Me too. I've been actually
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
rearranging one of our front gardens. We pulled out we had these very sad rhododendron and azalea bushes. Like the rhododendron was big, but he was very stringy. And then the azaleas were super stringy. So
Yeah.
we pulled those out and
Right.
we're going to rearrange like some of the irises and stuff and then put
Yeah.
other stuff in. So yeah, maybe more butterfly guys.
Oh my gosh. And did you know you could buy a butterfly kit on Amazon? I know this because where my mom is, her
Mhm.
assisted living, the activity director bought one of these. And so here's the chrysalis, and then you can watch it. So just saying, she did this in the
Very
dead of
cool.
winter, which was brilliant, you know,
Because
because you can't get outside. And so the
Yeah.
residents really enjoyed like a little bit of outside and watching that. So just
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
there you go.
All
All right. Well,
And
I am
wait,
so
wait.
excited. Wait, what?
Valeria has a card.
Oh crap.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I pulled this one. Are you giving
you-
your power away to something outside of
Outside
yourself?
Ooh.
Which I think is definitely a message I needed to hear this week. And I feel like it's a message we all need to
Yeah.
hear a lot in these days and age, right?
Can you tell us a little bit about those cards?
Yeah, so these are little note cards that contain messages that I received from my spirit guides in my personal hypnosis sessions. So I receive a lot. I'm a hypnotherapist. I do a lot of sessions. I have other do sessions for me, and I started getting all these messages, and then I would obviously forget all about them, forget to integrate them into my life, which was a big learning lesson in and of itself. And then at some point I said, you know what, let's make it fun. Let's use, instead of using oracles or buying oracles, why don't I make cards out of this? So every time I reconnect to the message, the experience of receiving that message, and I trust that that's exactly what I need to receive.
That is so
now.
awesome.
I had to bring that in because when you told us that, I was like, oh my gosh.
So should we tell people how they can get creative and change up their Mondays?
Yes.
So I created this really cool creative network called Natural Beauties Arts and Ideas Creative Network. And we do these creative sanctuary sessions every second and fourth Monday of the month. And they're super fun. What do you think about them? Because I know you've been to a few.
Oh, I've been to a few, and I have to tell you, when you told me about this the first time, I was like, oh, Mondays, I don't like to schedule anything on Mondays because I just like to flow into my week and not have anything on the calendar. And then I was like, you know what? It's Stephanie. I'm gonna pop in and just see what this is all about. And I'm glad I did. Because joke's on me. I was able to pick up an old sketch pad that I've had for a year, not touched, and some watercolors. And I was able to just sit there and play. And it was fun. And it released a lot of the nervousness and anxiety that I was experiencing over, okay, it's a new week and I got to do this and I got to da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I was just able to release all that. And I had fun and I created. So when you said sanctuary, I'm like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it's all about is just engaging that right side of your brain, that creative side where we can, in doing so, it brings joy and happiness and innovation. And ultimately, that energy flows over into our business, into our personal lives. And, you know, it just makes us happier and more efficient and like our problem solving skills actually get better. Like all sorts of things improve. It's so cool.
Totally.
So I'd love to have you join us on a creative session, second and fourth Mondays of the month, noontime Eastern Standard Time. And The website that you can go to check it out is my link tree. So linktr.ee/natural_beauties. And that will get you there. You can check it out. You can register and learn more about it. Hope to see you there.
Okay, so now, Steph, I can introduce. Okay, good. Got ahead of myself. Stephanie and I are so excited to introduce to Smiling Souls Valeria Basso. She is a Purpose Alignment Facilitator, Hypnotherapist, Quantum Human Design Transformational Coach, and Stress Management Consultant. She helps women who feel lost fall back in love with their life and themselves. She opens their eyes to their purpose and the beautiful, loving picture that's playing out for them since they were born, helping them understand the real meaning behind their challenges and what it actually takes to move past them. Through personalized journeys, her clients get to reconnect with their soul's essence, tap into inner resources they didn't know they had, and heal what's been keeping them stuck, confused, and in pain. They learn to regain control of their experience so they can make their way back to the joyful, meaningful life they were designed for. So welcome to Smiling Souls, Valeria.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. And I just literally met you like 15 minutes ago and we already connected. Steph knows you way more. So Steph, do you want to start it off or do you want me to? How you want to do it?
I mean, honestly, I think I would love for you to just kind of give a little synopsis of like where your journey of becoming who you are today.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, my journey is really very much it reflects the journey that most of my clients are in because so I was a marketer for many years, even though I felt deep in my bones that it wasn't the thing for me. It was just a sensible path I had chosen out of college. And outside of the first 3 years of that, I didn't really like it. But that's what I knew, right? And as I went along, it became my identity to the point that when I decided to start my own business, I started a marketing consulting business because it's what I knew.
Right.
And I dug myself into an even deeper hole. And then at some point, I started introducing myself to people as the marketer who hates marketing, which is a very good icebreaker. It would elicit laughs. And so from a marketing standpoint, it was a very good strategy, but it wasn't a strategy for me. It was just me being honest, but not realizing what I was really saying. At some point, I had to say, girl, listen to what you're saying. You hate this.
Yeah.
So I started getting really, really depressed because I didn't know. I felt like I was stuck. You start your own business hoping that it will give you some freedom, at least to do what you love.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you don't love it. And I felt like such a failure, even though my clients were happy. I was helping them. I felt like an imposter. And for me, meaning, purpose was always important. And I felt like I had no purpose. That I had not found my place in the world, right? So then in 2019, I lost my partner to cancer after pretty much. So we were together for only 2 years. I looked for him for 38 years and we were only together for 2 years, out of which a year and a half was spent in hospitals. So I found myself turning 40, which is not old, I know, but still, I had no kids. And I had just lost him. I had this business that was in life support. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, where did it all go wrong? Like, what? How did I get here? Right? I was mad at myself for what I thought was taking a lot of wrong turns. And then I was mad at the universe for taking him away from me, right? Like there were things that were outside of my control. And so I was in a deep, deep hole. And then pretty much days after he had passed, things started to happen. So and before that, I didn't know what I really thought about spirituality or, but at some point I was confronted with, okay, he's gone, but is he still around? Is it like, I didn't know. So the first thing is so he liked orange as his color and I liked purple. And so we were always trying to find Jeeps, the car, either purple or orange.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, at the time, usually Jeeps, like they have periods where there is one color that they
Right. Yeah.
And so in those years it was more purple. It was very rare to see orange Jeeps. We couldn't find them. And so I think it was about 2 days after he passed, I look outside my condo, the window of my condo, and there is an orange Jeep parked right there, right in my line of sight.
Oh, I love it.
And he stayed there for 2 weeks, never leaving. Like I would look outside the window multiple times a day, and he was always there. I was like, what the?
Oh, that was your beloved.
And then another thing was one day, again, this happened in the span of maybe 3 weeks. I was walking in Lincoln Park, which is a neighborhood in Chicago. And it's usually, I wouldn't say it's a posh neighborhood, but you see certain kinds of cars. And again, I was walking around kind of in a daze and kind of trying to talk to him, saying, if you're still around, can you give me a sign now? Literally seconds later, I turned the corner, there was another orange Jeep, which felt so out of place for that neighborhood of all. So that's it. Then there was another thing. I was coming back from his celebration of life. And I was in the car going to a friend's show. She was dedicating the show to him. And I didn't exactly know which exit of the highway I needed to get. So I used the GPS. And at some point, there was like no traffic, clear pathway. And the GPS, I was still far from the city. So it wasn't my time to exit. But the GPS makes me exit the highway. And I said, well, this is wrong. I don't know. But I said, okay, let's follow it. Maybe there's traffic ahead. I don't know. So it made me exit the highway and then take a left turn onto Gregory Street. His name was Gregory. Only to then put me back on the highway.
Oh,
It was really just a detour like that. I was like, what the hell?
that's why.
That's so cool.
And then I went to, a few days later,
gosh.
I went to see these kind of intuitive healer that a friend of mine, a client of mine had recommended. And so she starts talking. I'd never been to one before. I didn't know what to think about. And then at some point she starts laughing and she starts having this conversation, not with me, but with something else. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then she was saying, at some point, she said, well, she explained to me that she was talking to him, to his spirit, right? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is not, and so then she said, and this might be a little bit inappropriate. If you want, you can cut it. But so he had colon cancer, right? So he had to go to the bathroom many, many times a day. Like it was exhausting. And we had this inner joke between us, that only between the two of us, that always he used to say, well, I'm so full of shit. But it was an inside joke. And this intuitive healer, at some point, she says, oh, Greg wants me to tell you that he's not full of shit anymore. And I'm like, what did you just say? How do you know this? Because it was our own inner like thing. Nobody knew about this joke.
Oh my God.
What are you saying? So I started saying, is it real? Is she talking to him? Like what's and then she gets up and says, he sees that you're not convinced. So she went into the back room, comes back with a painting that her daughter had made. And she showed it to me, and it was a painting of a mermaid. Now, my partner, since day one, had called me his mermaid. Because, well, at the time I had reddish, my hair was red, and now it's dark.
Yeah.
But he had always thought that one day he would meet a girl who would be his mermaid, and he's like, and so she's showing me this, that he's telling her to show me this painting of the mermaid so that I could believe that what was happening was actually real.
That's so cool.
Wow.
And then last piece of the puzzle is I started looking for books after that to kind of, okay, what's going on? I want to understand more about this. Because again, I was raised Catholic, but I wasn't really attached to any spiritual beliefs. And so I discovered this book called Journey of Souls, that was written by a hypnotherapist named Michael Newton. I didn't know anything about hypnotherapy. And so I started reading this book. And first of all, it was the first time that it gave me a view of life and what happens after life that made sense to me on an almost visceral level.
Yeah.
It was almost like a remembering. I was like, yeah, this feels right. But beyond that, every time I would pick up the book, I would think of my film professor that I had in college in Italy. My film professor. And I loved her, but I had not talked to her for almost 20 years. Every time I would look at the book, pick up the book, she would pop into my mind. I was like, why? So I started trying to look her up on Facebook. I didn't even know if she was on Facebook. Then I find her. And when I found her, I looked closely. She was still there in Italy, but she was no longer a film professor. She was a hypnotherapist trained by the guy whose book I was reading.
Oh my God.
So at that point, I was like, okay, girl, these are all signs. There's something here that you need to look at. Wake up. My partner used to have this log saying, this is a sign. I was like, yeah, this is a sign, right? If you miss that, I'm sorry, but we can't help you anymore.
Oh my gosh. And all the signs that he's like sending to you, like, when did you finally go, okay, got it?
Well, it was a compounding factor, right? Because when the lady showed me that painting and she said all these things that were straight out of his mouth, that was already a thing. But then the book, when I mean, what are the odds that my field professor is now a hypnotherapist trained by the same guy?
Yeah.
And she's the head of an institute affiliated with his institute. It's like, this is really like, I felt like there was a hand in my lowest moment, a hand that was scooping me up. And I was like, look, there's a bigger plan here. I know you're in pain, but your life is about to change big time.
And okay, so Steph, I got questions.
Go.
So did you connect with your professor after you found you did?
Yeah, so I called her up. I explained everything that had happened and these coincidence, right? And so I had already plans to go to Italy that summer because I wanted to be with my family. And so I went to see her. And then later in the year, when I went back in December, I was with her for 5 days. She did a few hypnotherapy sessions on me. And before I was even done with that, I knew that was something that I wanted to do, like get certified in and become a hypnotherapist, because I saw the effect it had on me at my lowest point. And I said, I want other people to experience this upliftment in their time of need and struggle. And
that's amazing.
Wow. And I forgot the second question because I was so engrossed in the first question.
So funny. So then tell us about just like learning hypnotherapy and like, getting to that, like and building your practice the way you do it, because you do seem a little unique in your business of how you do it and whatnot.
Yeah, so after that, obviously then COVID happened because that was at the end of 2019. So I had to wait a year to start my training, which I was really itching. But then I did my training, my first trainings in hypnotherapy, regression hypnotherapy, so past life regressions. And the approach already of those sessions is really to help the client meet their soul. Because when that happens, and this is why, like, for me, I'm just a facilitator. I'm there to help people get out of their mind, get into hypnosis, which is much easier than people think. There's a lot of misconception about hypnosis. and then meet their soul. And once they're there, the soul takes over, the spirit guides take over, they do the healing, and it's much more profound than anything that I could possibly do for them, right? And they experience those feelings. That's what I like about it, because I go sometimes to this intuitive healer, and she's awesome, she's spot on about everything. But when you're under hypnosis, I got to experience what unconditional love feels like, which is, there are a lot of experiences that you have in hypnosis when you're in your soul state that we don't even have the words to fully describe that experience, but you can see the client having this experience and beam, and when they reconnect with their soul family and understand who they are in their lives, or maybe they don't have them in their lives, but they reconnect with their energy. And it's a remembering, because at that point you remember, right? It's like there's nothing like it, and it's something that they need to experience, because then once you experience it, then you can reconnect with it. Because then we go back into regular life, which is crap most of the time, and sometimes we need to reconnect. But I find that the memories of what happens in that realm, in hypnosis, are actually, they stay with you for the most part more vividly than memories in your life, of things that you've done in your life. That are just really at your core, and you can access them, and you can, I've had clients who grew up in a not loving family, so they don't know what it's like to feel loved. That then in that state, they experience what it's like to feel loved. And they understand that that experience is part of them. Yes. Because they come and say, or they feel extremely lonely, and they never understood why. They get to understand why that feeling of loneliness, be able to release it. So everybody has their own experience, which is beautiful. Because it's your own. And at the same time, for me as a witness, I get a kick out of it, because I learned so much about life through my clients' experiences and my own. But you see that there is a thread connecting everything. And in that book, Journey of Souls, that you, Wendy, have read it, basically what happened is these guys stumble across this method of taking people back into their soul states. And he was doing this back in the 80s. So this stuff wasn't talked about. It was kind of doing hush hush, because he didn't want his peers to kind of look at him like he had lost his marbles. And so he was taking in clients, and there was no social media. So the clients that were coming in didn't know each other, didn't have ways to, compare notes. And they were all describing similar things about what happens in the soul state. And so he started to say, wait a minute, there's a pattern. How do they know? How can they relate similar experience? And so he started mapping this whole experience. And and it's still true now, although the sessions have evolved a lot. Okay. Because our consciousness is evolving, which is a good thing, right? In this crazy world, you might look at the surface level that we're in the middle of a involution or a regression. I don't know how you say it, but in reality, we're evolving. And so there's a lot more freedom and fluidity in what people experience in their soul state. So
that's a bit of good news.
Yeah. And that, for me, it's doing this work. It always reminds me, okay, there's the madness that's going on.
Right.
But all the messages that we get are so much love and upliftment. It's good. We're going to be good. And but we're going through a great change. And the change is a lot of the messages that my clients get, or that I get, are all about, there's almost an unlearning that needs to happen of our way of being in the world.
Agreed.
Right. Which is then the starting point to create something new. A lot of unlearning on all different aspects of things. And so that's where we're in the middle of. And it's messy, because I feel it too. You have that pull. You've been taught certain things. They're deep inside you, right? And then you are exposed to these new ways of being, but you need to reconcile them with everyday life. And that's kind of then what I help clients with after the sessions. Like, how do you integrate this into your everyday life? Because that's the work, right?
That's the work. Yeah, that's the piece. Like you said with your cards, like you were getting the messages, but you weren't integrating them in. Then you made the cards, and that made the difference. So you help clients integrate what they just learned. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. And Steph, have you read the book?
Not yet.
Oh, girl. I didn't finish it. So this makes me, I'm going to pick it back up and finish it.
Yeah.
Shoot, I had another question now. I can't remember. I'm just processing.
What are some of the ways that you help clients integrate?
Yeah, that's a great question.
So that's where I combine also their quantum human design, because their human design, the way I treat it, is a storytelling tool, right? So they get these messages, they get these healing from their hypnosis sessions. And then their human design is also a map of kind of themes that they're here to experience, and it charts almost a story arc between the stuff that they need to heal and the new ways of beings that they are here to embody. And so we use that to anchor things into their everyday life, whether it's they have work challenges or relationship challenges.
Right.
And my job is again to help them find their way. I don't even like to call myself a coach, because it's all about their way. And they have to understand there is your way to success, your way to happiness. It's not what this person says. And so the first step is to access your own answers in hypnosis, because they come from the source of who you are. And then help them, support them in integrating this process, which sometimes it's not immediate, right? I'm experiencing it in my reality too. One of my big themes and purpose in life is to experience freedom. But in this lifetime is to experience freedoms to from constant situation in which I get myself into narrow paths, dead ends, and I have to learn to create freedom from that. So that's one of my lessons. So it takes me a while, right? To get there, but at least I'm anchored in that. And I remind myself of that every time that things get a little crappy.
Wow. That's a great reminder. I remembered a question. So with the information that I'm looking at, Valeria, would you mind telling us about the experience of you remembering your first heartbeat or calling that forth? How do you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that was the result of one of my sessions when I was in hypnosis, and I was in a moment where I didn't feel very good about myself. There were things that were happening, and so my self-worth was really low. And so one of the things that you can do in hypnosis is regress people into the womb state, when their soul first connects with the fetus, the baby. And there's a lot that you can uncover there. And for me, I had this experience where I got into the womb and I could hear my mother's heartbeat. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there were two heartbeats. And I was aware that it was my own. And it was, again, it's one of those things that I wish I could find better words to experience what I felt. But it basically, the whole thing was, we never think about it, but the heart pumps the blood through the body and it helps every organ function, right? That's a starting point. But what makes the heart beat?
Great question.
I had never thought about that, right? You take it for granted. The heart, out of nowhere, out of the blue, it starts beating.
Right.
And then it keeps beating over and over, right? And so the message was that's the moment of choice, your soul choosing you out of billions of options out of unconditional love, because you're exactly what she wants as a companion on this journey. And she trusts you completely to have everything that's needed to fulfill the purpose of this life. And the purpose is always towards more joy, more, because that's what the soul wants for us. It doesn't want us to struggle. It's there to challenge us, but it doesn't want us to stay in pain. And so feeling that act of will from the soul saying, I choose you. And with every new heartbeat, I keep choosing you. Why? Because your life has tremendous value. And that's why your heart is still beating. So that's what it was, exactly what I needed at the time. And now every time I put my hand on my chest and I feel my heart beating, I'm reminded of that. And that's I actually powerful. Discovered, because I think that was part of my question for that session, because I'd always had a arrhythmia.
Oh, okay.
Growing up. And then I always had patches of time, situations where I can really feel my heart in my chest. And I always thought, is there something wrong with me, or is it anxiety and whatnot?
Right.
And instead I discovered, no, it's the soul telling me, hey, you need to remember how precious your life is, because you've forgotten.
Oh.
I was like, okay, now I know. Now when it happens, I don't freak out. I just, know it's a message.
Just your soul going, hello.
Yeah.
Valeria.
There's a reason you're still here. Make the most of this life, right?
Gosh.
Stop being in your head. Stop bitching about things.
Oh, you do that too. Okay, I don't feel so bad then. Valeria, have you, since you got the message, the signs from Gregory, from your beloved, have you since communicated with him?
I have, from time to time. Yes. Usually every time I really ask for a sign from him, I always get it in some form or another.
Yeah.
Very, very clear. I remember it was even, was it? Yeah, it was last year. So he passed away in April. And last year, so he had 3 daughters from a previous marriage.
Okay.
And he was quite a bit older than me. He was 15 years older. So his daughters were, his eldest was already a teenager when we got together. And so now she's a young woman. And but I had not talked to them in a while. I think in back then, in more than a year. And last year, in the days leading up to the anniversary of his passing, at some point I sat down and said, are you still around? Because, I hadn't felt anything from him in a while. So are you still around? If you're still around, can you give me a sign? 2 days later, I get out of the blue a text message from his eldest daughter saying, hey, the date is coming up, and I wonder if you want to go and have dinner with me and remember funny memories about my dad, because I'm feeling, I'm feeling sad. And I'm like, okay, this is a sign.
It's a sign. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had a feeling you communicated with him after the fact. Yeah. Let's see. Steph?
Yeah.
What you got?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I know, right? It's Valeria. I'm sure. So I have that knowledge of the book. So I know of where you speak and where you're coming from. And I feel like if maybe listeners haven't read the book, they're like, so read the book, come back. But here's a question that just came up. Valeria, you talked about how this entered your life when you were at your lowest point. So what would you tell a woman? What would you tell a woman that's listening or watching that might be at her lowest point? What would be your advice doing what you do, right, for her?
Yeah. So first of all is, and I know it might not be easy to accept if I had these experiences, but I could say there is a bigger design at play, a bigger picture.
Really is.
And trust me when I say that that big picture is always loving. Always loving. So my first thought would be sit with that and just these experiences, whatever you're going through, does not define you. It's not you. There's a bigger meaning to it, that it's loving. And again, another thing that it's hard maybe to get when you don't feel that support is to know that you're never alone. There's always there's always, your guides are always here. We actually have way more support than we think. Actually, my guides say, what did they say at one point? It's like, my God will give you so much help, but then you don't follow it or you don't see it. You know, sometimes they're a little frustrated. They have great personalities too.
I get it. Oh yeah.
But again, since you heard that story, it's like, put your hand on your chest, feel your heartbeat, and remember that is your soul telling you, you're here for a reason. I got you. Yeah. You're valuable and you're doing fine. You're doing just fine. There's no judgment in the soul state.
Nope.
That's why that unconditional love is like, whoa, this is what it's like to really know judgment. Everything else is just the mind. It's just the mind.
Yes.
So one little bit would be taking a breath and just notice what you're experiencing, because you're here to experience things. And then we attach meanings to these experiences based on our beliefs, our upbringing, what the world says, the media, whatnot. But we're here to just experience things. So if you just sit there and notice what you're experiencing, what your mind is saying, what you're feeling in your body, is there tightness? Is there heaviness? Is there emotions? And you let them just float away. The thoughts, the emotions, without attaching to any of them, without saying that's who I am, because you're not. You are actually the act of noticing your experience.
100%.
And just sit in a moment with that and getting curious about it. That's really what hypnosis is about. You learn to notice your experience, and your experience get deeper and deeper and broader. But it's all about noticing what's coming up for you. Because there's this quote that I read in a book by, this guy is a channeler. What's his name? I'm so bad with names, so I don't remember, and it's very, very true. It's the biggest influence on your reality is your inner world.
Yeah. Right.
So the state of your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your soul, and but we give it goes back to that. Are you giving your power away to something outside of yourself? Right. So, and it's so easy to do because of the media, because of all the narratives in society, and these or that. But the thing is, and this is one of the things that the message is that we need to really let go of, is that victim mentality. And the victim mentality is, actually, I don't even like the term victim, is more this empowerment of saying, oh, this is happening to me because of this and that. Or this person or that person's decision, this group or whatnot. And one thing that you learn through going into hypnosis is that's not true. That's absolutely inconsequential. You're creating your experiences, which sometimes it's hard to take, because for me, for example, I went back, some experiences are hard to accept. What do I mean? Am I doing this to myself?
Right.
So it's not an easy pill to swallow, but that's why this process, because you learn to see the meaning behind that challenge, then you got to see the loving picture behind it.
Yes. And so let's see. I'm just looking at ways to get in touch with you. Oh, I want to ask you, Valeria, tell us about your soul path readings and your personalized healing journeys. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, so the soul path reading, it's a reading of your quantum human design. And like I said, think of your quantum human design. I call it map. Most people call it chart, but it's really, it tells you of the themes that your souls chose to experience in this life and how your soul chose to interact with life on an energetic standpoint.
Yep.
So, for example, just to ground it, so there are 5 different types in quantum human design. So there are some types, like myself, the manifestor or the projector, who actually don't have access to continuous life force energy, which means that we're not designed to work 9 to 5, work, go,
Oh, okay.
like many people. Most
Got it.
people are a type that have consistent access to this energy.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that those
Interesting.
people can run themselves to the ground because they encounter other issues, but types like me or the projectors, they just, if they try to operate like the world is structured to make us operate, we will burn out. So a lot of the causes of burnouts is because we are running our energy in a way that goes against our design.
Yeah. Right.
It's just one of the things that you can learn, but also your type is attached to your role in the world, your purpose. So through the reading, you really get to understand more of how it's how you're kind of designed to be, and can be a really good eye opener. And the way I do it is because human design was it was a tool originally it was channel. And it was a tool originally to kind of shock us into deconditioning ourselves from all the crap that we've been taught that are true that are not.
Okay.
But if you approach it that way, it can be quite jarring at first. So I like instead to open it up by introducing people to their gift sides, because most of the time they know what their shadow side is because they live it every day, right? They are entrenched in everything they think it's wrong with them.
Right.
But it's about helping them see you're also all this, which is so beautiful.
Right.
And actually, your way to get to this, the beauty side, the gift side, is through your shadow side. So it's also a tool for self-acceptance.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful. I'm just loving all of this, and I'm seeing that we're getting closer on time. Steph, what you got?
I don't know. I love that you combine the two things to
Same.
Really help your clients. And how I guess how do you like to work with your clients? Like, is it mostly in person? Is it virtual? I know when we spoke, you were talking about, like, at some point maybe doing retreats, that sort of thing. What do you do now, and what's your dream?
Yes.
Right now I work with people one-to-one. I can do in person or online. The beauty of it is that you can do all of this, even these deep hypnosis sessions, online.
Nice.
And so people can work with me, like they can book one initial session and kind of to experience it, right? Or they can go deeper with a series of sessions, like 4 or 5 sessions. When we go a little deeper, we get the guidance, the clarity, the answers, and then we start integrating them more. Or there is a bigger journey that I call Live Your Purpose, which is we work together for about 15 sessions, which can happen in the span of a year. The thing is, the client chooses the pacing. It's about getting in tune to understand when it's time for the next session, because everybody has their own healing pace. And healing, sometimes you create momentum at first, and then you need space.
Right.
And so, my clients learn to sort of tap into themselves and understand what's best for them. It's not me telling them. And also I have kind of a playbook of tools that, again, I give them these tools and then I say, tune into yourself and see which one feels right for you and which one feels not right. You know, it's not me telling them, do this.
Yep.
Right.
And that's why I call it playbook and not workbook, because I don't know about you ladies, but every time I hear the word workbooks, that's it. I'm out of here. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
And it's really about learning to play with yourself, right? So that journey is more transformative because we throw everything in there. Multiple hypnosis sessions, the quantum human design, the total transformation, total integration into your life. That's a really, and you get me as a support because in my experience, I was doing these things alone. And then, like I said, I didn't have somebody who keep me honest, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would tend to get sucked back into certain aspects of life. And so that's why I want to be there for people and just really help them integrate everything. But eventually in the future, yes, retreats. I would love to host retreats in my family home in Italy. It's an old water mill at the foot of the Alps, surrounded by nature.
Oh, yep.
We used to have deer coming just right in the back of the house. But now my father saw a wolf this spring. Oh. Like, yeah, forget the deer this season. But that's where I would love to host a retreat. We have a stream right through. In fact, we have a bridge to go back to the main road from the house. Wow. And I would like to, I'm exploring creating a community to kind of help people's souls in these times of madness.
Yes.
To stay the course. I had a beautiful vision actually last week in one of my sessions where I asked what my bigger purpose is for the world right now. And there was this vision as really bringing the word was sanctity, of sacredness, the spirit world, which I dabble into a lot, and bringing it into the earth plane, into everyday life with every action, every decision. So I'm thinking I would like to create a community that helps people do that, because the more people do that, the more we can get to the good changes that are coming. But again, how we get there to us, right? Right now we're on a very bumpy ride.
Yeah, but you're right. That's how that consciousness forms. That's how they get there, is through all of us.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be the majority of the population for that to take over. Like once you, I think it's called critical mass. Once a certain group, then it creates more momentum. Because the thing is, the light is stronger than the dark.
Yep. Always.
And so.
Always.
So that's my vision.
I love it.
I do too.
Now, so, sorry, one more question. Now I'm wondering, never mind.
You're adorable.
I don't know how to phrase it, so it's not going to come out right.
You're just adorable.
You can still try.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So like you still have sessions, but you were saying, so sometimes you have somebody else, do them for you, but you also, I'm assuming that sometimes it's more of like, is it more meditative for you as well? Sometimes where you just kind of are going into your soul and looking for the answers or whatnot.
So the funny thing is that I'm not good at meditating.
Okay.
At all.
Oh, okay.
So there are times when I feel a nudge and I sit down, close my eyes, and boom, things start happening. I got my grandpa and my ancestors coming in one time, and they just started bombarding me with requests and things like that. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
One at a time.
But then other times I can sit there, try to meditate, and nothing freaking happens.
Okay.
And again, meditation doesn't have to take you somewhere. It's about noticing what you're experiencing, right?
Yep.
But I'm not very good but I can go deep into hypnosis. So sometimes people say, oh, if I don't know how to meditate, can I get into hypnosis? There's not a correlation. It helps, but it's not necessarily,
required.
yeah. So
Oh,
I usually
wow.
get, going back to your card, the outdoors. I
Yeah.
usually receive messages
More
when I'm
outside.
walking in nature under trees.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
100%.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Very true. Yeah. So yeah, it's a, you got, it's a journey of finding what works for you, but yes, having somebody facilitate getting to that point where you can hear and see, because there are so many people that are so disconnected, that it's important that we have the healers that can facilitate the connection making.
And it's really about getting
Exactly.
past that mind.
Yeah.
The chatter of the mind, the mind
Right?
that,
The
and
mind
the
that
mind should
says,
not
I
be
can't.
vilified, because it's doing it. Every part of us that feels like it's working against us in the part's mind, they're doing it out of love. They're protecting us, or
Exactly.
they just don't have the full picture, and therefore they go about it in a very, very unhelpful way.
Right.
I feel like what you shared, Valeria, that first step, for a woman that's really just hit bottom, is to just put her hand on her heart
Yeah.
and just feel that heartbeat. I love that. It's such a simple way to connect to your soul and go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
here we are.
And your soul trusts you
Mm.
more than your parents, more than, think about whoever you have in your life that trusts you tremendously. Your soul trusts you even more, because it's unconditional love. There's no judgment,
Absolutely.
no nothing. And it knows that you have all the resources you need. There is the saying that we're not given more than what we can handle, right?
That's
And
right.
it's so true.
Yeah.
So true. And the help is there if we keep our eyes open.
And if we just ask, so I will say this. One of my friends who she's gifted and intuitive and mediumship, and she works with angels, as do I. And she said, when I first started my journey, she said, your angels, they are like sitting on the edge of their seat, just waiting for you to say, I need some help. And I'm like, that was like, oh my, that opened my eyes. So your spirit guides are just sitting on the edge of their seat, just waiting for you.
They're rooting for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, each guy has its style.
Yep.
So funny to get to know that for every client.
Right.
But also have different styles of communicating to you. So it's about learning that language.
Yeah.
And sometimes after you go into that soul state and you reconnect with them, it's easier then to recognize their sign. You can even ask, like, how do I recognize when you're giving me a sign, right? Because sometimes that messy or confusing. So yeah, it's about that too.
Whew. This has been incredible. And wow, really noticing the time now. Should we wrap up, Steph? I hate to do it, but we probably should. You got to get to Cape Cod, girl.
I do. Anything you want to share with the audience?
Yes. Anything you want to share, Valeria?
Oh, no, not really. Just I thank you for having me on your beautiful podcast, and hopefully I can return the favor soon. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel.
Exciting!
So you'll be among the first guests.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well,
that'd be wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Yeah. You good?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.